All right, this is Miss Beard, and this is the presentation for Spain for multicultural foods. Okay, what you see on the screen is a map of Spain. As you can see, Spain is to the south of France and is part of the Mediterranean unit because of the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea borders not only Spain, but the other countries that we're also going to talk about as part of Mediterranean Europe. You can also see Portugal. Portugal and Spain have a very similar history and food so we're going to kind of combine them and talk about them together. Okay, as far as the mountains go, the Pyrenees Mountains separate Spain from France, and they're known as one of the most beautiful mountain ranges in the world. Okay, as far as climate, Spain is different from other countries when it comes to climate because they have hot, dry summers. And most of Europe thus far has been cold and kind of clammy and rainy, but Spain has hot, dry summers, which not only allows it to have nice weather, but also to produce a different variety of crops that we will talk about. It's also known as a vacation destination around the world because of its beaches. Okay, and the picture you see there is a picture of one of Spain's very famous beaches. A lot of people choose to vacation in Spain because of the resorts and the weather. Okay. The map you see here is actually a population map. The red dots are where people are most populated. A lot of people live along the coast in different cities. Spain is a pretty urban country, but a lot of people also live on farms, and we will talk about that a little bit more later. Madrid in the center of Spain is the capital, and the Canary Islands and the Balearic Islands are also part of Spain. As far as the history of Spain, the Romans ruled the area that is now Spain for almost 6 centuries. And a lot of the food influence comes from the Romans. And also, the Christianity is the official religion of Spain, and that comes from that is influenced by the Roman rule as well. Okay, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella were part of the monarchy before Spain became a democracy. And you've probably heard of them before when you were in first grade because King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella funded Christopher Columbus's voyage to the United States, or to the Americas. He didn't know he was going to the United States yet. And so they have a legacy because of Christopher Columbus. And so a lot of students hear their names and don't quite connect the dots until later. They united the kingdoms of Spain in the 1400s, and they sent explorers, not only Christopher Columbus, but a variety of different explorers to the New World to claim land for Spain. So a lot of what is today Latin America and the United States was once Spanish territory. Okay, and there's a picture of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. All right. Before Spain was a democracy, it had a dictatorship after the monarchy ended. In the 1930s, Francisco Franco had a dictatorship. And once he died, a democratic government was established in Spain. And today, Spain is a democracy. Okay. There is a picture of the Spanish flag. You can see some parts are incorporated from the monarchy. You see the crown and the royal seal. The colors are red and yellow, and they have very vibrant colors. You can see that in a lot of their decorations, and especially in their housing as well. Madrid is the capital of Spain, and here is a cathedral from Madrid. It's known as one of the most beautiful historic cities in the world because a lot of their landmarks still stand today. Definitely a place I would love to visit. Okay, as far as agriculture goes, there's a lot of different staple foods that are popular in Spain that they grow. So far we've talked about wheat, barley, rye, oats, potatoes, rice, and beans. But some foods that are unique to Spain include olives, grapes, and honey. And we haven't really talked about those yet because no country has had a climate that is warm enough to produce those crops. So the influence of olives, grapes, and honey are seen in a lot of different Spanish foods, which we will talk about in a moment. Okay, the picture that you see there are actually olives, and they are used to produce olive oil, which is the oil that's used not only in Spain but throughout Europe. It's used to pan fry, to saute, to do regular frying, and it's used in a variety of dishes. The Spanish are really well known for their use of olive oil, and it's linked to a much better performance of the heart and lower rates of cardiovascular disease and other diseases like obesity and hypertension. So there's a lot of studies that have a positive take on olive oil and its health benefits. There you see wheat, which is another crop of Spain. There's some other crops known as the Mediterranean coast garden land. The Moors were the indigenous people to Spain, and they built extensive irrigation systems that are still seen today. They are used to grow almonds, oranges, lemons, dates, and sugarcane, okay, which are some of the more tropical, quote-unquote, fruits and vegetables. It is a little hard to see. This is one of my first Prezis that I made. But especially the almonds are common throughout Europe, especially in the southern regions. And they thrive only in the Mediterranean area because of the warmer climate. Okay, the Mediterranean Sea is towards the southeastern end of France. Okay, Valesian oranges are also really well known throughout the world, and you have Spain to thank for them. They're some of the best in the world. They are known for being very plump and very juicy. And typically in the United States, whenever Florida oranges are out of season, Valesian oranges are on the shelves. In Spain, although a lot of people live in urban areas, most people by majority still live on their own farms and produce a lot of their own food. They don't produce everything themselves. Obviously today there are local markets and other things so that people can buy food as well. But a lot of people still produce at least some of their own fruits and vegetables. As far as culture goes, Spain is pretty similar to the rest of Europe and its love of football or soccer. Okay, they like to watch and play soccer, and it's a very popular sport throughout Spain. A fun New Year's tradition is that they like to eat grapes every time the clock strikes midnight. If you can fit 10 grapes in your mouth, it's supposed to be good luck. Very unique tradition. It's also found in Latin America, especially in Brazil, so that kind of, you can trace the roots back to Spain, though. It was originally a Spanish tradition. Bullfighting is also a spectacle sport in Spain, and here's a short video about the bullfighting. You can see it's a lot different than a sport that would normally take place in the United States. All right, the picture you see there is of the Festival of San Fermin, and it is also known as the Running of the Bulls, and people travel from all over the world to go run with the bulls. It's a festival that's held in July, and here's a short video clip about the Fiesta of San Fermin.
We're here at La Fiesta de San Fermin. This is a world-famous festival, mostly because Ernest Hemingway wrote about it in his literature. It runs for 7 days, between July 7th and July 14th. You can come here any day at 8 a.m. for the main event, El Encierro, that is the running of the bulls. Now you're about to go back in time to this morning to when I ran it. Now check it out. I can't sleep. Like, I was in the car, like, where's the bull at? I'm nervous as shit. We got 15 minutes to get there. It's 30 minutes before they close the entrance. If not, I won't be inside. So we have to haul out. Let's go.
You can see they wear red handkerchiefs around their necks to symbolize that they are running in the race. And the guy that you see on the video does a lot of different traveling around the world, and he is known for being very adventurous. People also often watch from the balconies or along the streets, often like we would do in a marathon race. I think he changed his mind, too. People often get hurt, as you can see. It's not the most safe sport to participate in. Running with the bulls. I think he's having a little too much fun. All right, I paused the video, but if you want to watch the rest of it, just go to YouTube and search the Festival of San Fermin. All right, talking about cuisine, the Spanish have a lot of cultural influence from the Romans, and we already talked about how the Romans ruled the Spain for almost 6 centuries. The Romans contributed both oil and garlic, which are used in almost every Spanish dish, and even in America, we cook with a lot with oil and garlic. The Moors, however, contributed citrus fruits, rice, and spices, which are also used. Again, the Moors are the indigenous population to Spain. All right, not only did the Spanish influence Latin America, but Latin America has also influenced Spain and the rest of Europe. The people who traveled to the New World brought back with them tomatoes, chocolate, potatoes, and sweet and hot peppers. And those foods are used throughout Europe today. So you can see that they not only influenced, Mexico and Latin America, but Mexico and Latin America also influenced Spain. Okay, so I have a lot of students ask me, isn't this the same as Mexican food? Okay, Spanish cuisine is actually very similar, but in a lot of ways they're different too. Tomatoes, garlic, and onions are the base of many sauces, which is different than Mexican food. In Mexican food, they don't use a lot of garlic, and onions are used a little less often than in Spanish food. Spanish food is also known to be not as spicy and a lot more mild in temperature and in spice. The picture that you see there is paella. And foods like paella are simmered all day, okay? They cook in large pots, very similar to the Mexican style of cooking. Kind of like a casserole, they combine meat, grains, and vegetables all together in one pot, and they'll let it simmer all day. Okay, simmering is probably the most popular cooking method. Moving on to tapas. Tapas are appetizers, and in Spain it's not uncommon for people to go to 3 or 4 tapa bars before they ever go to dinner. The picture you see there, empanadillas, are small pastries filled with chopped meat, fish, or poultry. And I've made them before filled with ground beef. They're really good. One difference from appetizers in the U.S. is that they're very small. Again, they might eat 3 or 4 of them before they go to dinner, so they're different size portions. All right, salads are also very popular in Spain, and salads are served after tapas. Their salads are often simple, consisting of lettuce and tomato with a simple dressing like vinegar and oil. It could also be an arrangement of vegetables on a plate. So it just kind of varies as to what a salad looks like. All right, the soup you see there is gazpacho. And soups in general are very popular throughout Spain. Gazpacho is a soup that's made with pureed tomatoes, onions, garlic, and cucumbers. It's actually served cold. And then sopa al cuatro de hora is a fish soup that's made with mussels, prawns, whitefish, rice, peas, saffron, and eggs. All right, moving on to main dishes quickly here. Seafood is also very popular in Spain. They have a variety of mussels, shrimp, and crab, and fish can be baked, fried, or poached. Okay, all those are very